Hey guys, welcome to part number 2 of the top 6 house flipping mistakes investors make and how to avoid them. Now, in case you missed part 1, I'm going to drop the link in the description below so you can check that video out and get the information that you need so you can make sure that you're avoiding these mistakes. Now, moving on to the 4th mistake, and that is not knowing your market. Now, when you don't know your market, what you're doing is you are buying based on emotional attachments and your personal opinions. And that would be things like this. Well, I think that house looks nice. I would buy it. Or, ooh, that looks like a beautiful house that I can buy for myself. So since that will be something I will buy for myself, I'm going to just go ahead and pick that property. Or that one looks like that one's in a great neighborhood. Let me just go ahead and get that one. Big mistake. You don't want to buy it as if you are buying for yourself. You have to think about the end buyer. So how can you avoid making this mistake? Well, for one, you must understand what your buyers are looking for and what they're willing to pay for a property that meets their needs. Now, I know you heard this saying before, or people say this before: research, research, research. You want to research the market. You want to be able to know what areas are your buyers looking to purchase in. What are they looking for? How many beds? How many baths? How much square footage are they looking for? And what are they willing to pay for that property? If you do not know any of this, then you will make the biggest mistake of not understanding your market. And you're going to waste a lot of time, hours, and resources and all of that investing in a property that will not be profitable for you. So another way you can avoid this mistake is to build a relationship with a real estate agent. Now, why would you do this? Well, for one, they're already in the market to help home buyers buy and sell homes. So they already know what people are looking for. They already know what their buyers are willing to spend for a property. So they can give you all the details that you need for your research. And then two, they know how much these properties are selling for. They have access to the MLS, which is the multi-listing services, and only a licensed real estate agent can get access to that. So if you're not a licensed agent, you will not have access to that database. However, there are ways to get around that. One of them would be working with a real estate agent. Or two, if you want to become a licensed agent yourself, then you can do that and get access to it. Or you can look for different softwares that are out here that has information that comes from the MLS. So it can synchronize into that system for you, and you will know what it is that you're looking for. So one of those softwares that's most commonly used is that Propstream. If you haven't heard of that, I'll drop the link down below so you can check out that software and see what it's about. But it's a great software to use because I am currently using it myself. And another way you can avoid this mistake is networking with other real estate investors and just partnering with others on deals, because there is always someone that's out there that's more knowledgeable than you are. Maybe they've been in the industry for 30 plus years and you've only been in for maybe 5 years. They have more knowledge and more experience, so they know the ins and outs. And you can learn from other investors who's already had the success and still has the success that you're looking for. So you want to partner with other like-minded investors. Now, the 5th house flipping mistake would be improving the home too much. Now, what I mean by this is putting in all the luxury things, like all those fancy cabinets and things that you really don't necessarily need, and things that buyers don't really care about. Yes, they want high quality material. However, they're not looking for the rich fancy stuff because it's just materialistic items. They just care about, is this house suitable for me to live in? And does it look decent for me to live in? Is there any value to this property? Now, how do you avoid improving your property too much? You have to look for other comparable properties and see what their final finishes are. What are their fixtures? And try to match that as much as possible. If they have something a little fancy, you don't have to have the exact same fancy thing, but maybe a little less fancy, but not too less fancy, because you don't want poor quality. So match up your property as close to the other comparable properties as your current property. So that way you are making sure that you are staying within the realms of what that other property has in their property. And again, this part right here goes with the mistake number 4, and that is another way to avoid this situation and improving the property too much is thinking with the end buyer in mind. What is it that they like? Don't put stuff in the property based on what you like, because you're not the one buying the property. You have to think about what the end buyer is wanting to, have in their property. What's on their wish list? What do they want to have? Now, moving on to number 6, which is the final house flipping mistake, and that is overpricing your property. Now, when you do this, your property more likely will stay on the market for too long, and it may sell eventually, or it may never sell, and that's more money that you have to spend, because now you have to cover the cost of carrying this property until you can sell the property. And such carrying costs would include the mortgage, if there's a mortgage on the property, the taxes, you have insurance, all kinds of costs that you have to incur for holding this property if you can't get this property to sell quickly. And that is going to be more costly to you, because now you have to dip into your budget, or you may not be over budget, but it may put you close to budget or close to being over budget. But overall, you don't want this to happen. So you want to be able to price your property within the market, but don't underprice it, because then you're leaving money on the table. And if you overprice it, you're not going to get any money, or if you do, it may take you years before you even eventually sell the property, and eventually you're going to have to negotiate and drop your prices, to be able to be within that market. And when properties are sitting on the market for too long, this makes buyers think that there's something wrong with the property because no one's buying. Well, if it's sitting on the property, if this property has been on the market for over 2 years, something has to be wrong with it if no one's buying it. That's what they think. Now, how do you avoid this mistake? Well, you need to check your comps, which are your comparable sales. What are other properties selling for that's similar to the characteristics and fixtures of your current property? You always want to survey the property before you even buy it in the first place. So you want to make sure that you are doing your research. Again, research the market and what others are paying for a property that's similar to yours, with the right fixtures, the updated fixtures, not the average low quality fixtures, but the more updated fixtures. So those were your top 6 house flipping mistakes landlord investors can make and how you can avoid them. And one thing for sure, if you don't do your research or do any of these to avoid these mistakes, you will miss out on a lot of revenue. You're going to spend thousands of dollars on something that could have been easily avoided had you done your research in the first place. So if you don't do any of these and you don't take the due diligence to evaluate the properties before you buy them, because I know you're excited to have a property because, oh yes, this is my first flip, I can make a profit on it. Yes, I know that excitement can overpower your thinking, but you want to make sure that you take your time and think through all these costs and all of these mistakes before you actually get into these projects. And if you do it the right way, you will be successful. So, if you found value in this content and you want to learn how to avoid some of these mistakes, how to be profitable, how to make the best financial decisions for your business so you are always staying on budget and you are always getting a profit on each property that you have, then click the link down there below to book a call with me, and I will be willing to map out a game plan for you and help you get on track to making those profits that you need and reaching your end goal. And until then, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.